Hello everyone. If you want to know like what is the interview process at Bank of America, or if you want to know like what kind of interview one can brush up before taking up an interview with Bank of America, then this video is for you. In this video, I'll be sharing you the interview process that I have underwent at Bank of America, and I'll be sharing you the interview questions that I have encountered in the different rounds. So before getting into the interview, firstly, I would like to talk about the interview process here. So coming to the interview process, there were two rounds. Like one was telephonic round and one was face to face round. These two were the technical rounds, and after that there was an HR interview, which was also a telephonic round. So in the first technical round, which was in the first technical round, which was a telephonic round, the questions were from basics of the Java, and the most common questions like what are your roles and responsibilities, why you want to switch, and they were grilling me like anything. There were two guys in the telephonic round, like two people were there, two interviewers were there. They were like before can complete the first question, like before I completing the question, they were bombarding with the questions. What I can say, like they were not giving me a chance to complete my entire answer. They were framing the question from the answer that I was giving them. So, but the entire what I can say questions were from core Java itself. There was no question related to any framework here. Just while I was explaining my project architecture, they were questioning me like why you have used so and so technology. Apart from that, there was nothing. So in the second technical questions, this was a face-to-face round. I was called to one of the offices in Chennai. So here they asked me to write code, different questions like different frameworks they have asked me here. So upon clearing the second technical face-to-face round, there was a telephonic HR round, which was mostly about the salary negotiation only. So these were the interview process at Bank of America, and the role for which I was applied was senior software engineer. As I've already mentioned, the location was Chennai, and the experience at that time was 6 plus. So at that time it was 6.1 to be honest. So interview type was both like telephonic and face to face. Interview day was the telephonic interview happened on a weekday, but a face to face round has happened on a weekend. This is typical thing. Usually face to whenever a telephonic round is done, we get called to attend it interview at a weekday, but this was a different thing here. So I got a call from from the HR of Bank of America, but she said me that she has got my resume from the Naukri. So Naukri helped me here in getting the call. So please, if you are trying to switch, please update your profiles at Naukri and keep checking regularly the Naukri platform. So this was about the entire interview process and the roles for which I was applying. So in the upcoming slides, I will be sharing you the interview questions. But before that, I would like to give a quick introduction of ourselves, like who are we and what we do. So we are basically a bunch of software engineers who attend interviews with different MNCs and share our interview experiences through these videos, so that this might help someone who is looking out for similar kind of video, or at least give a overall idea about how the interview process is going to happen at so and so company. So as of now, we have shared close to 50 MNC interview experiences. So you can visit our channel to find more such interview experiences videos. If you haven't subscribed us, please do subscribe, because there are a number of videos which are in the queue, which we will be posting in very soon. So if you want to contribute us, you can reach us out at the given email ID which is there in the description. So this was about ourselves. So coming to the first question, firstly I would be sharing you with the coding questions that were given to me in the second round. So the first question was like this: given a list of employees, you need to filter out all the employees whose age is greater than 20 and print the employee names using Java 8 APIs only. So this was a bit easy only, not tough, I would say. So I have also tried to give a solution for that. So if you can see that we can stream to the employee list, and by applying the filter and predicate condition, and we'll be mapping that employees names into the map, into a string, into a list. Oh, I'm really sorry for that. So this would give a answer for that. the solution you can halt. Please do practice Java 8 streams, to be honest. Like then, like, I am attending different interviews. In every interview they are definitely asking us to write, give a solution using Java 8 streams. Definitely Java 8 has become important in every interview. Like every Java interview you will expect, whether you have worked on Java 8 or not, it is irrespective of that, they will definitely ask you to write code using Java streams. So I request everyone, if you are not aware of Java 8 concepts or don't have hands-on experience on that, please do practice and go. So the next question was, given the list of employees, count number of employees whose age is 25. So this was continuation of the previous question only, so I just need to modify one condition. So this solution will give the answer. So I need to traverse to the employees list using string, and I just, in the filter, I just need to pass the predicate and that one count method that will give the count. This was the second question. The third was this: given the list of employees, group them by employee name. So this is bit tricky here while explaining grouping by. So this is a default method, but most of us won't be having an idea on this, because at that time I was not having an idea on that. But I just guessed this, and luckily it worked out for me. Then later on I came to home and I practiced this as well, grouping by method. So these were about the three questions that were asked me to write the code. And coming to the telephonic round questions, so these are the questions: what are the new features which got introduced in Java 8? So I listed out all the features that I have remembered at that time. There are n number of features that are there in Java 8, but we don't use and we don't remember, to be honest. Like while interviewing, maybe because of nervousness or something, most of the answers won't come out. So be cool while answering this. The next question was, what is lambda expression, and explain the syntax of lambda expression. So had to explain about each and everything in the lambda expression, like why lambda expression, like how it got evolved. So basically it is a function. If you have an idea of function programming, it is easy to explain the lambda expressions here. The next question is how lambda expression and functional interfaces are related. So I couldn't get the answer here, but I know like lambda expression got evolved from functional programming, so I said the same thing. But exactly like functional interface and lambda expression relation, I couldn't say that time. Then later on I came and googled and found the solution for that. Then he asked me to how would you create your own functional interface. So I have explained him in detail, like there is nothing to explain in detail, like we just need to have the interface, at the rate functional interface annotation, and we can give a solution to it easily. Then the next question was, what is optional, how and why do we use it? So in Java 8, optionals is very important. So if you are not aware of it, please go through it and make sure about what is optional and how it is and where it is used. It has its own importance in Java. Most of us might not have worked on this, but this is one of the tricky interview questions you will face. Next is, do we have PermGem in Java 8? To be honest, it is not there. Now it has been replaced with Metaspace. So he asked me about, like, are you aware of Metaspace? What is it? So I know a basic idea on Metaspace. I was not that deeply involved in that, like what is this, but I was able to give a answer on it which can satisfy the interview. The next question was, explain the intermediate and terminal operations in stream. So at the first time I couldn't get what are intermediate and terminal operations, so I asked him for one suggestion, any help. So he provided me the help, and I was able to easily say what are intermediate and terminal operations. Actually I know about the operations, but I was not knowing that they are called intermediate and terminal operations. So this was about the Java 8 interview questions that were asked to me in telephonic round. So the next question in face-to-face round was, what is Docker image and Docker container? So I have answered it in this way, like Docker is a containerization platform which packages your application and all its dependencies together in the form of containers, so as to ensure that your application works seamlessly in any environment, be it developed or test or production. And coming to the Docker image, it is the source of Docker container. So we can explain in this way. You can have your own explanation, but this was the question, like what is Docker image and Docker container. The next question was, what is build cache in Docker. So when we build an image, Docker will process each line in the Docker file. It will execute the commands on each line in that order that is mentioned in the file. But at each line, before running any command, Docker will check if there is an already existing image in its cache, and that can be reused rather than creating a new image. So this way we can answer. You can have your own answer, but the question is this: what is build cache in Docker? So the next question is, what type of applications, stateless or stateful, are more suitable for Docker container? So it is to be honest, like it is preferable to create stateless applications for Docker container. We can create a container out of our application and take out the configurable state parameters from the application. Now we can run this same container in production as well as QA environments with different parameters. This helps us in reusing the same image in different scenarios or different environments, you can say. So this was about my what I feel. You can have your own answer here. What type of applications are more suitable, whether stateful or stateless. It's up to you. I just tried to give one answer. So the next question here is, what is para virtualization? To be honest, I have no idea when I was there in the interview. So I said the same thing, like I don't have an idea on what is para virtualization. So I couldn't give the answer to this, and I said the same thing, and like I don't know. So if you are aware of it, you can comment on it in the comment section. Can you explain Dockerfile on build instructions? So I have answered it in this way. The on build instructions adds to the image a trigger instruction to be executed at the later time. When the image is used as the base of another build, the trigger will be executed in context of the downstream build, as if it has been inserted immediately after the from instruction in the downstream Docker file. So if you are aware of Docker processing and all those things, it will be easy for you to understand the answer, or else it would be a bit difficult. So the next question here is, how does Docker run containers in non-Linux systems? So it can run, like it is not a big deal. So explain him like how can we make run the Docker images in non-Linux systems. How to use Docker with multiple environments. So as I have already said, like we need to make out the we need to make a Docker in a stateless thing. Like we need to remove all the configurable part, and just by passing the configuration part, we can use the same image in different environments here. Then the next question is, what is a resource in REST web services? So REST architecture treats every content as a resource. These resources can be text files, HTML images, pages, videos, or any dynamic data. REST server simply provides the access to the resource, and the REST clients access and modifies the resource. So this is about the resource. I hope everyone must be knowing about this. The next question is, why is the root certificate important? So root certificate is one of the important thing to provide the security. So explain him the same thing, like why it is important. If you are not aware of it, please do Google it. You will get a number of answers, like why is root certificate and what is root certificate actually is. The next question is, what should be the purpose of options method of RESTful web services? So most of us might have worked on get, put, post, delete, but many might not be aware of the options method. So options method basically represent a request or information about the communication options available on the request or response chain identified by the request URI. So basically it gives an idea like what it is, the URL form, what it is, what it expects. So that is the main thing that options provide us. The next question is, what are the different ways to test web services? So I have said what are all the different ways we try in our application. So we use Postman, we do integration tests, we do many other ways, like integrating it with the UI we can do. So those all things I have done, like writing JUnits. So the other question was, how do you understand by distributed transaction? Like what is basically distributed transaction? So many applications are distributed transaction, but I have explained in this way. A distributed transaction is a type of transaction with two or more engaged network hosts. Generally, host provides resource and the transaction manager is responsible for developing and handling the transaction. Like any other transaction, a distributed transaction should include all the four ACID properties. Given the nature of the work, atomicity is important to ensure that an all or nothing outcome for the operation bundle. So different networks here gets involved while saving or retrieving the data. So it should either pass or it should completely fail. That is how it should be managed. So the next question are, what are the primary security issues of a web services? So basically, like confidentiality, authentication and network security are the primary security issues with the web services. So in detail you can go through it on the Google, like what are these. So basically these are the three things. Then the next question is, what are the advantages of statelessness in RESTful web services? So here the biggest advantage is the clients don't need to hold the previous interaction data here. So it simplifies the design here as well as the application speed up process. Then the next question here is, what are NoSQL databases? What are the different types of NoSQL databases? So as I was working on MongoDB, that's the reason he has asked me this question. So our application uses MongoDB, and he was asking me the question keeping MongoDB in the mind. So what all are different NoSQL databases? How are they different from random RDBMS? What we can say. So the next question here was, what is sharding in MongoDB? Sharding is a process of replication of data on different multiple machines. So in detail we can explain this. So for now I would restrict it till saying that replicating the data, or you can say that sharding is a process of storing data records across multiple machines. The same data is replicated across different machines for the throughputness. The next question was, he asked me to write a code for this, like perform the SQL join equivalent in MongoDB. By somehow I was not able to give the perfect solution, but I tried my best to answer this. If you know about it, please do comment in the comment section. When should I use a NoSQL database instead of a relational database? So it's completely depends on your application whether if you want to know a NoSQL database or a relational DB. So if it is advantageous that using a NoSQL databases may increase the application performance or anything, then definitely we should go with NoSQL database, or else we can go with the relational or the traditional database system here. The next question is, explain how would you keep document change history in NoSQL DB or in the MongoDB. To be honest, there are different ways to do this by creating a different version every time it gets changed, and there are different in number of ways. What I can say right now, I'm not getting like only store the changes in the new version or store changes with the document, and we can do this in different ways. So the next question is, name some best practices for RESTful API design. Well, like basically what are the best practices we should follow while designing the REST services. So at that moment I got like there are a number of best practices that we should use, like we should use nouns but not verbs, and what can we for the get method and the query parameters should not alter the state, and use plural nouns, use subversion sub resources for the relations, use HTTP headers for serialization formats, use hatios, provide filtering or sorting field selection and pages for collection, and there are like version on your API properly, handle errors with HTTP status codes, like 200 for OK, 500 for internal server exception, 201 for created, 304 for not modified, 400 bad request, allow overriding HTTP methods. So these are the few best practices that we can consider while designing up our REST services. So this was about the questions that I have encountered here. So coming to the feedback, I would say it was a good experience. Like it was a lot time consuming, there was a huge wait before getting called, so that was the only thing I felt like time consuming thing, and salary offer was really very good. So for 6 years of experience, they were some giving something close to 20 to like 21 point something, and I feel that was a good package here. So interview conducted month was January 2020. So that's all about the interview process at Bank of America. So if you haven't subscribed us, please do subscribe, like, share, or feedback. Provide us the feedback of how was the video in the comment section. And why do we request to subscribe is it will definitely help you, because there are a number of videos already there in the queue which will be updating it. And please don't miss it, because that will definitely help you in one or the other interview views. So share, this will definitely help someone who is looking out for similar kind of videos. And that's it from our end. So thank you for watching. Why do we ask our viewers to share subscribers? The reason for asking is that there are n number of interview questions that we have already shared, and there are many other interview experiences or interview questions which are there in the queue. If you subscribe us, you will not miss any of the updates that we are publishing. And one more thing is, like, we are working with different members, like with our friends who work on different technology stack like .NET, DevOps, AWS, Salesforce, and very soon we will be sharing the interview experiences of on those technologies as well. Why do we ask our viewers or subscribers to share our videos? The reason for starting this channel was to share real-time interview experiences. A few years back, when we were trying to switch our company, we were not finding out a perfect answer, like what is the interview process at a respective company, or what kind of interview questions we may encounter in the interview at that company, or how much salary we can expect there, like how much we can say, like what we can expect there. So we were not finding it on any site, even on the sites like Glassdoor we were not able to find the complete picture there. So we have started this channel, and why we ask you to share is, and we believe that there are many other like us who want to know like similar kind of things. So if you share this video somewhere, someone will get an idea on the interview process or type of questions they are going to encounter in the interview, and how much salary they can expect there. So that is the reason we ask you to share our videos.